do this video over again and restart it, I actually had to delete my other live stream of the Royal Rumble and do it over. I had to want to make it longer, like an hour and 20 or an hour and 30 minutes, so I can show you all the other podcasters and YouTubers. Anyway, I am Jacob Cat 2024. We're going to do the WWE Royal Rumble 2026 review. Going to do a live stream. Hit that like. Make sure you leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comment section below. Y'all want to see more. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. We are going to talk about the Royal Rumble, and then we'll talk about maybe the AAA show that happened last night. Thought the Royal Rumble was a decent show. I think it was a decent show. Only 4 matches. I think about 4 hours it went on ESPN. In Saudi Arabia, I think the only good thing was the men's Rumble. There were some things I didn't like. Some things pissed me off. Thought the outcome was a little bit predictable. Gunther and AJ Styles was a great match. AJ Styles' career is over. He retired. Gunther retired him. Gunther, the career killer, he retired AJ Styles. I think the most boring match was Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn was not hometown, but the fan favorite in Saudi, but the match got no reaction. Drew McIntyre came out to no reaction. The match was fucking boring. Sami Zayn, I think it's time him going after the world title is over. As for the Women's Royal Rumble, I think the first half was kind of boring. The last 20 minutes, it got good. There were some surprises. And the last 20 minutes of the match got good. I actually loved the ending with Liv Morgan and Tiffany Stratton and Sawuka. Liv Morgan won the Women's Royal Rumble. There was some story development in that match and something that was pretty good. But the first half was boring. Liv Morgan won the Royal Rumble. And Roman Reigns won the Rumble. Only reason why I'd be okay with it if he was on TV more, if he was teasing some storylines and matches that are not showing up all week. Now, just want to show you what happened here. Okay, so Dominic Mysterio. Wait, so we did see Dominic. I know Omos is on there. So did Dominic came back on TV? Now, what we got in the Royal Rumble, Femi had a dominant performance. He lasted 40 minutes. I was pissed when he got eliminated by Brock Lesnar the way he did. And how Brock got eliminated by Cody Rhodes during Jey Uso's entrance, that pissed me off. Owen had a dominant performance. Last Legend had a pretty good performance. Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn was a boring match. There was some story development with Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. We had Roy Key make a debut, came out to cricket. We had 2 El Grande Americanos. Braun Breaker lasted like 6 seconds. Femi came out number 1, which was shocking to me. Braun Breaker came out number 2, and he got tapped by the mystery superstar who attacked him and beat him up. And whether it's Seth Rollins or someone else, I don't think it's Chris Jericho doing AEW, but what a joke at Braun Breaker that was. That shit pissed me off. I think Braun Breaker, he ain't going after no world championship. It shows you what Triple H and the company thinks of Braun Breaker. The division ain't going anywhere. Braun Breaker's not going anywhere. He's not going after the world championship. You gotta deal with the mystery superstar, whether it's Seth Rollins or someone else. Styles hit way to the main roster. AJ Styles bids farewell. Here the AAA show that was also yesterday. Come on now with this crap. Jeez. Alright, you know what? I'm actually going to show y'all some of the podcasters here. I don't want to show all of it. I just want to show you guys Solemn Author, JD, Denise, and Good My Work commentary. Oh, come on now. You're getting my nerves here. Share Jericho, leave AEW, go back to WWE. Alright, gonna show y'all Denise. So say though. Alright, here we go. Hold on.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Royal Rumble post show for 2026. I cannot believe the Royal Rumble has come and gone. It's your girl, Denise Salcedo, and I'm very excited to welcome back Sancho West. Sancho, how are you?
I'm doing well. Happy Rumble to you. I appreciate the love and having me back on this awesome show. Shout out to your people, because the people want me back. Somebody wants me.
Yes, no, it's true, by the way. A lot of people are like, hey, bring back Sancho. You guys are great. You guys are fun. Woo! Okay, I listened to the people.
I am loved.
Well, here's the thing, though, Sancho. At least you're loved. We're coming off of this Rumble where we're getting some mixed reactions. I don't even know where to start. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start the women's? Do you want to start the men's? Do you want to start with AJ? Do we start with Sammy? Overall thoughts on the show? Where do we begin?
Why don't we just start where the show started? Right off the bat with the Women's Royal Rumble.
All right, let's do that. We'll start with the Women's Royal Rumble. So this was one, oh my gosh, where do we begin with the Women's Rumble? Liv Morgan, your Women's 2026 Royal Rumble winner. I think we should start there, Sancho, because Liv Morgan was a hot pick for the win today, and she finally got her moment after years of coming very, very close. It finally happened for Liv Morgan, and the way in which it happened, the final three, Liv Morgan, Soruka, Tiffany Stratton, the battle of the blondes. What a fantastic way to close out the Rumble. I gotta tell you, even though overall I did not love a lot of the Women's Rumble, I thought there were some parts that were kind of boring where really nothing was happening. There wasn't as many memorable moments as I had hoped, but damn, that finish I did love, because of course they were doing so much action in the ring apron, and you know, the climbing on each other and the soul snatcher and everything that played out there. That made me hang on to my seat, where I'm thinking to myself, which of these women is going to screw up and fall down? And I think they did a really good job of building my anticipation during this moment. So I was beyond thrilled that Liv Morgan got the victory. How'd you feel about her winning?
I think it was a very strong choice, considering that the Judgment Day has been a big focal point for the women's division for a long time, and to have that story continue where Liv, who said to Finn Balor that we're family, you need to be with family, and then she basically turned against Raquel. Now, I don't think they're going to break up. I don't think Judgment Day is going to collapse. Judgment Day has withstood a lot of possible breakups. It's easy for Liv to go into Monday night, like, you have a match tonight against Stephanie McMahon. You need to focus against that match. I will help you win that title, and I will go and challenge for Jade's title at WrestleMania. So Judgment Day can still be together, can still be on top. So I don't think it's just going to be the end of Liv and Raquel. But shout-outs, I have shout-outs. Number one, shout-outs. Kiana James. Unbelievable run for Kiana James. Worked a good chunk of that Rumble, at least, I want to say 60% of it was Kiana James bumping for everybody, selling for everybody. Was like I like to say at every Royal Rumble, you got to have someone to grease the wheels, to be the in-between when someone comes in, to feed the next person. And I thought Kiana James did a great job doing that. Of course, big standout as well, Last Legend. Eliminates Charlotte Flair. It eliminates Io Sky. Two of the biggest names in the women's division is a huge, huge plus for Last Legend. Great vibes from that. Some of the things that was quite interesting, where I feel like that's a strange choice, is I like the idea of them starting with Charlotte and Alexa, and I think the reason why that fell a little flat in a sense of where they were trying to do is because they eliminated Alexa way too soon. Like, you could have easily got Alexa to close to the Final Four to build up that tension, but overall, I thought I had a great time, and my last shout out is for Raquel Rodriguez. The Hana bomb to Rhea Ripley onto the outside of the apron, chef skills.
Dude, okay, so you got a lot of really great highlights in there. First of all, I agree with you on Kiana James. I was not expecting her to be one of the standouts in this matchup, and I gotta tell you, in my opinion, I thought she really needed it, Sancho, because I didn't really think she was rocking the world over on SmackDown. So this was definitely her best showcase by far. Lash Legend's elimination of Io Sky. Holy cow, I thought she blew her brains out at that point with the way that she stopped her so nasty. I could not believe, I thought that was one of the most brutal eliminations that not only that I'd seen in a Rumble, but honestly, across the board, I couldn't believe that one. So that one really, really hit hard for me. I kind of disagree with your thoughts on the Liv Morgan Raquel stuff. I think this should lead to a Judgment Day breaking up, falling apart. I do think it should be a fallout for them.
Family, your family.
But they're not family.
You have disagreements all the time with family.
Disagreements. She could have helped her out. She had an I know it's every woman for herself. Trust me, I know it. But in that moment, she could have helped her and then had somebody else eliminate her. But no, she happily eliminated and sent Raquel flying. But I also like this because Raquel was kind of getting a little bit of a big head. She was kind of acting like she didn't need Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. So for me, I love that elimination. I love the way Soruka looked. I thought that Soruka, Kiana James, as well as Lash Legend were some of the ones that got breakout performances there. I was hoping Jordan Grace lasted a little bit longer for sure. The Natty stuff. I thought she would be the one to eliminate Maxine, but it ended up being Becky Lynch. I didn't think it would be Becky Lynch. Of course, they have that history there, so I get that. Chelsea Green got a fantastic reaction. I also I love the moment that she had with Rhea Ripley. So even though she wasn't in there for long, I'm glad she at least did get a moment in there. I loved Rhea Ripley getting revenge for Io Sky with the way that she had been eliminated. Brie Bella making her return.
Biggest pop of the night about that? It just shows you that every crowd is different, right? Brie Bella, no doubt, is someone that is beloved and the people enjoy her presence, but to get that pop, that was on the same level as Alexa Bliss last year. Alexa Bliss's pop was loud, and that was a big pop for Brie mode. I think if you're going to bring back Brie Bella with Nikki Bella, that really would help out the tag team division. I think you could put them in the tag team division. They could have a feud with Lash Legend, who I believe Lash Legend got rid of both of them, so that would work really well. I'm trying to remember correctly who did.
Yeah, I think so. Lash Legend eliminated them, and they had eliminated Bayley and Lyra.
So you could continue that tag team vortex, and that will work out for everybody. And that will give an opportunity for another tag team, like a big names of Rhea and Io, to leave the tag team division because you have another team to supplement that. So I have enjoyed the return of Brie Bella. Hopefully it's a longer term. I think I would say a theme of this overall Royal Rumble is what didn't happen. The internet loves to speculate. We all had the finger on the pulse of the timeline. It was like, all right, where's AJ Lee, right? AJ Lee would be a great kind of entrant here, right? Trish Stratus, which is a known type of return in terms of the legends. But it is interesting that the WWE had heavy NXT presence in the women's division. And at the same time, if you were a Lash Legend who just came up to the main roster, a lot of the known talent, the big names, put over the younger names, and that actually happened in the men's side as well. You literally had the Damian Priest is out there bumping for a big old Oba Femi. So it is quite interesting how to see that the WWE has put a lot of stock in the next generation of superstars early here in the Royal Rumble on both sides for the women and the men.
I love that. They have to do that. Everybody that came out on NXT was exactly who I was thinking, except for Blake Monroe, though. I wish so we had Blake. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, she's not in the Rumble? What? That was so I don't want to say upsetting, but I had my hopes up as a big Blake Monroe fan. I really was thinking she was in, and by the time we got to the final two, I thought, okay, well, at that point we didn't know if it was going to be Bianca, Tiffany, Blake Monroe, who's it going to be? Bianca didn't show up. You mentioned that a huge topic is things that didn't happen. Well, that's get $100 on the board, guys, because Bianca Belair did not come out here. Were you surprised by that? Because I think a lot of people were.
I was, and I wasn't at the same time, I mean, I picked Bianca Belair to win the Royal Rumble, because considering that she is sorely missed in the main event picture.
Come on, Nacho, you got to be smarter. You got to go for Liv, baby.
That's a good point, but I've had a finger injury like that. I broke my finger in a very severe way, and it is not easy to come back from. You use your hands a lot, and the recovery process takes a long time. Not just the bone healing. That part doesn't take that long. It's the PT, it's the physical therapy that you have to do, and you do such tedious tasks. And I'm just a dude, running around on a keyboard and mouse, right? I don't need much to recover. Someone like Bianca Belair, who has the task of lifting and throwing and slamming and jumping and all that kind of crazy stuff, no doubt she wants to be 100%, but I was quite shocked that Bianca Belair was not there. And I thought that this would be the perfect avenue for it, but it seems as though we're back on track from Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan was what Tauntine I like to call the anchor bean of the women's division, had so many eyes on her, and then she suffers her injury, and I think that Liv Morgan experiment was stopped, and I think they're just revamping everything up by using the Royal Rumble as a cheat to shortcut her way back to where we were a year ago.
Yeah, because I think that's what they need to do with Liv. Because I still think she could reach much more new heights in her career. Like, she still hasn't reached the type of accolades that Rhea Ripley has had, that Becky Lynch or Charlotte Flair. And I feel like given the popularity that she's accumulated in the past year, 2 years, that she's gotten popular with the Dominic stuff, it really took a life of its own, and I feel like that within itself, given how long Liv Morgan has been in the WWE, how long she has battled for this, I kind of got like a little emo there when I saw all of the names of the women that have won the Royal Rumble, and to finally see Liv Morgan's name up there, I thought was fantastic. So I loved the outcome of that. And Tiffany Stratton, that one was surprising to see her come in at a number 30, but not win the Rumble. But again, with the way that it was executed, was done so well. Do you think that Soruka impressed people, for maybe those that did not know Soruka? Do you think she garnered some new fans today?
Of course. I've always been a fan of Sol Ruca when she first started popping up in the main roster. I thought her first appearance on SmackDown, I was like, she's ready. Why are we messing around with NXT? But I understand that NXT, she has storylines she has to wrap up, and there's people who expect someone like a Sol Ruca to carry the brand for the women's side for a bit, but clearly she's ready. I mean, I've always feel like SmackDown, now with the 3 hours, could benefit from her just being in the ring, and she could get over with her in-ring, and she totally does always get over with her in-ring, and it's just her vibe. I mean, by far one of the best outfits of the night, the way the ring attire just kind of screamed like it's her, but it didn't feel like out of place because, they had to adjust their attire.
Yes. When somebody in my watch-along had said that the MVP of the Women's Royal Rumble were the seamstresses because they did a hell of a job. Everybody had something that went with their characters, and there were some really, really nice detailed work in the clothing. Like Charlotte Flair's, to me, was one of the most expensive-looking ones. She looked like a trophy out there. It was great to see her.
Did you like Charlotte at one?
Come over there and
yes, actually, I did like Charlotte at one because I think it kind of. Now, I know people were not expecting Charlotte to win back-to-back Royal Rumbles, right? But I still think that Charlotte coming in at number 1 maybe put a little bit of fear into people going, ooh, is Charlotte going to take it all the way? Is she going to ride the whole Rumble and somehow come out on top? I do think maybe there was 1 or 2 people out there in the WWE universe that saw that and thought, ooh, what if the Queen does it again? But the second that Alexa Bliss's music hit, ooh, I felt myself going, oh, okay, now I see why they were really hamming up the whole drama between both Alexa and Charlotte, because they were really amplifying that a lot for like the last 2 months or so, and I kind of felt like it didn't feel natural to me that they were going against each other. It felt like it was forced, and now I get why, because this was the plan all along.
I'm just hoping they do more action. I think their weakness part of that feud is their promos, and whoever writes their segments are pretty strangely low level, but more action is possible. But I was hoping for more, I guess, a disconnect that was happening. Instead, it was just an instant, big move from trying to get Nia, and then out goes Alexa Bliss. I thought, as someone as like Nia Jax, I thought she was in very early. Nia Jax has always been one of those spots where she comes in and dominates, and she kind of came in early and dominated. I was like, wow, she was at 4 or something. That's very strange for Nia Jax.
Welcome to the next generation of website creation. Wix Harmony. Get the power of AI.
I was like, wow, she was at 4 or something. That's very strange for Nia Jax to be at 4.
Yeah, I was so wrong. I only got one correct entry prediction, and that was Becky Lynch at number 9. I don't even know how that happened, but that was like the only one that I got too. I was very, very interested to see which NXT women came out, which is why I told you I was kind of holding on for Blake Monroe as well. But overall, though, I would say that yes, there was pieces of this Women's Rumble that I loved. I just wish that we didn't have such a long gap in the middle where nothing really happened. That was the only part that kind of took me out, because I was looking at this and I was going, oh yeah, like I remember a couple of spots for these people, but they're like, oh, for example, we didn't even talk about Kyrie eliminating Asuka by accident. That was great too. I can't wait to see how, Asuka's going to be pissed as hell. So I do think there could have been some more fun, memorable moments within the actual Women's Rumble, but what I think they did get right was the start and the finish. That I did like the first entrance 1 and 2, and then of course the finale.
It just shows you that there's some people that were missed in this Rumble. I think I know that she's a champion right now, but Stephanie McIntyre she could have been that perfect middle person that comes out that kind of brings it back up for everybody. I mean, it just shows you that it's hard to pace a Rumble, and that's why I felt like if they had Alexa in there longer, then that middle part could have been that moment with Charlotte and Alexa. Or we should have had more of those moments. I love like Zelina Vega, and I absolutely think she's a great performer. But there was something about her coming out with her whole theme. It didn't have like any tie-in with Aleister Black, because that's their new faction. So I think Zelina could have been a nice thing. I think Natty was quite interesting, like we mentioned her a little bit ago. I'm a low-key legend. I'm just hoping that they make Natty just feel dangerous. And it is interesting that she eliminated Becky Lynch, and if she's going for the IC title, that's dope. And I think that I'm happy that the WWE has got rid of Natalya, and they're really willing to experiment with Natty Neidhart.
We got John Taylor here. Thank you, John. He says, for the post show, always happy to see Sancho. Thoughts on the Royal Rumble? So Ruka really impressed me and had a blonde Lita vibe. Really happy for Liv. AJ losing gave me the sad. Didn't care for Sammy Drew and liked the men's Rumble. I love that we all noticed that Soruka did have those Lita vibes. I like that, and I think I've seen her before. She's also done the thong look too on NXT, and I think she designs all of her gear too. So that is definitely something that stood out. Thank you so much, John. We got Crew Kid 52 here who says, gotta say, I don't think Triple H made the right call. There were other good candidates to win, but he did the book Roman in case of emergency thing. Here's the thing, I know we're gonna get to that in a second with Roman Reigns, but I felt, was Roman Reigns your prediction to win, by the way?
No, it was Santi's. Santi had Roman.
Okay, yeah, I had Roman too. And part of the reason that I had Roman was kind of just to get him back, because the booking of Roman has not been great the last couple of weeks, months, excuse me. And to me, I'm like, yo, you got to remind people, hey, we got Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is here. Let's do something. And I get that a lot of people might feel like, all right, well, Roman Reigns has main evented a lot of WrestleManias, this and that. But Roman Reigns is still a draw. Roman Reigns still gets a lot of butts and seats, man. And so, and even me, like, I'm not going to come out here and be like, oh, I'm Roman Reigns' #1 fan. Definitely not. But I did recognize that this was, I hate to say it, but I think this was the right call to have Roman win.
See, that's where I'm at. Like, what's the Royal Rumble for, in my opinion? Like, what is the vehicle of the Royal Rumble? For me, it's the shortcut for people who can't get there, who cannot climb through the main event, who cannot baby step their way, who don't have a story, who don't have a chance. That's the Jey Usos of the world, right? Jey Uso, rarely on the outside looking in, needed that catapult to get him there. And I feel like people
does, but I think that's just based off of what they've got. I think for WWE, it was just an easier path to have Roman win, and for him to, hopefully, I hope, fingers crossed, that we get CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Plus, you guys should also know that I'm biased towards that match, and I've been wanting to see it. So, kind of all means all hands on deck, all right? All hands on deck.
What I love about you, Denise, is you don't deny your biases. And I think
no,
a lot of
everyone knows I want to see CM Punk versus Roman.
A lot of the wrestling fans need to let the biases out. Let's just be real. You gotta let go. But it's so interesting when you look at it.
Having a agenda, that's what happened.
You gotta have it. Like Cody Rhodes. How did they get rid of Cody Rhodes? Drew McIntyre claimed.
Oh yes.
Right? If they have to find a way to get Cody off the board because they can't have Roman. We can't have that. Let's get him out of there. How did they get rid of Brock Lesnar? They got rid of Brock Lesnar during Jey Uso's entrance.
Bro, don't even get me started on that. By the way, thank you, Crew Kid. Dude, okay, well, we're on the topic now. Let's talk about it. Men's Royal Rumble. What the hell? There was a couple of things that I did not like. One you just mentioned right now was with, okay, so first of all, Oba, I did not like the way that Brock Lesnar just eliminated him just like that without putting any extra razzle-dazzle on it. Like, built up the anticipation after everything you did with Oba. They almost had it all completely right, and that was a moment that I did not like. When Jey Uso did his entrance, and they did Brock Lesnar's elimination, Cody eliminated Brock during the entrance, I think the live audience basically missed that because they were all with their heads turned looking at Jey Uso's entrance, and then the camera barely caught like the tail end of it, and I'm thinking this is the man that eliminated Oba, and Cody's the one doing it. Like, that's a big deal to me. And so all of this was nearly missed. What? I kind of felt like they rushed all of this so that he wouldn't be in the ring by the time Roman Reigns came in, just so that we can get the Roman Reigns Jey Uso moment, so that they can tease the entrance running back again, so that then Roman can finally take out Jey. What? What was all that part of the Rumble? This could have almost been like, it was almost gonna win Royal Rumble of the night for me until we got to like that section of the Rumble.
It's not easy. It's not easy to produce. They say the Royal Rumble is the hardest thing to produce. There's too many moving parts, too many responsibilities. And Denise, don't do this. All right, don't.
That's one.
Introducing the Score Bet for Sunday, Monday, or any day that ends in Y. We're with you every.
About this for multiple reasons. One, I think the reason why they avoided that confrontation was just so that Braun Breaker wouldn't get one on Oba. I think they did this all to protect Oba, put the bright shining light on Oba. I get that. But Braun Breaker, let's not forget, is also one of the guys that is going to be the future. So part of me looks at that like, did Braun Breaker look good in this? I get it, he was attacked and he did not see this coming, but that kind of sucks to get attacked like that and not even get a real moment in the Royal Rumble.
At least come back. No, there's been plenty of times where people come back into the Royal Rumble and just pull somebody out and destroy them. I mean, at least try to get back into the Rumble. Don't just sulk away and never come back.
So now that makes me think, okay, well, does this look bad for Braun Breaker? And then on top of that, the other thing, and I think a lot of people might be feeling this way, I feel like WWE is overdoing the masked guy with the hoodie bit. We have seen this way too much. We saw it. Okay, let's see if we can figure this out. Recently, Money in the Bank last year with R-Truth, he was also masked up. Survivor Series, the stuff with Austin Theory, bam, right there. Who else? I know there's more.
Solo Sikoa, that's the way he came out.
There you go, Solo Sikoa.
I
There's
think
gotta be more. I feel like I've seen 15 more. Because Austin Theory did it a couple of times, so I think
Austin Theory did it a couple of times. Yeah.
Even more times than that.
Yeah. Did Tonga Loa have a hoodie? No, I think he just popped out.
Who else? I don't know. Whatever. It seems to be like a crutch now that they keep doing it. Yes, exactly. We got to come up with different stuff, man. I don't know. Put on a white suit. Change it up.
Hey, they're trying. Maybe they should just sell the black hoodie in the store. I'll buy it.
Yeah, but so anyways, one of the things that I found interesting was how WWE. I know we were talking about how the Royal Rumble is very hard. There is a lot of moving parts in there, but I was very surprised by how many production errors there were during this show. For example, we mentioned kind of the Roman Jey Uso's entrance, right? There was another moment during that where Cody was about to eliminate somebody, and commentary is like hyping it up, like, oh my God, Cody's about to eliminate this person, blah, blah, blah. And they never put the camera on it. Instead, they kept the camera on Jey Uso yeeting, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, do we need to see Jey Uso yeeting for the 1,000,000th time? Or can we get a glimpse at who Cody is trying to eliminate? Then there was the other thing with the graphics. Of course, we saw the thing that happened on SmackDown yesterday. But the thing with the graphics, today, I don't know if you noticed, but it stood out to me. Was every time they had entrance number 11, they kept showing entrance number 1 in both the women's and the men's Rumble. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
Yes, it was a thing, and I was just like, what? Somebody fix it. It was just little things like that I thought were kind of out of place and not really something.
You know what it is? It's because we're in a different universe, all right? We crossed over. An event that wasn't supposed to happen happened. The incursion occurred. we had one Grande Americano and
Oh,
the
God,
OG
yeah.
Grande Americano collide. Don't you understand? We're in a different timeline
There's
now.
like 100
all right?
people
Our
outside the
world is
courtroom.
about to be shattered.
It's not just young
Damn.
people.
All
It's
right. I
everyone.
didn't know.
It's like
That
old
was.
people.
That, you know what? How about this?
I think
Chad
that's a
Gable
problem.
looks freaking jacked, man.
How do you know that's
my
Chad Gable?
All right. The original American.
He looked jacked.
American Grande, whatever.
OG
The
American.
OG.
The
You know
OG
they're doing this for
AG.
damn. You know they're just doing this for damn t-shirts.
I would buy one. I would buy everything about it. I mean,
See, Sancho, I blame you. This is the reason why we're stuck with this goofy shit.
it was incredible to see two legends of the past. Do you understand how long the legacy of Grande Americano and the OG, this rivalry goes back years? Years, and you're
Well, I
downplaying
mean,
it.
he was out here wrestling for 100 years, so.
Exactly. And, you know, I can't believe that these two are like star-crossed lovers. They go away and they come back together like magnets.
SmackDown, you know, something like that.
Oba did not get a one-up over Brock Lesnar for us to go like, yeah, he's the new thing, the new beast incarnate, because at the end of the day, Brock Lesnar took advantage of the rookie mistake of Obafemi, and that's one of the things I don't like what WWE likes to do, is if you're from NXT, you're a rookie, and Sol Ruka made a rookie mistake by going for the small stature on the apron, and Obafemi made a rookie mistake by going for, who's he trying to get out, Jey Uso or something, and then all of a sudden, Brock just
Stop living with residue. Add Jet Dry 3-in-1 for a practically spotless shine.
For a limited time, Domino's is offering any large 2-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Available.
Jey Uso or something, and then all of a sudden, Brock just dumps him like nothing.
Yeah, no, I agree with that too. I had originally thought once they started getting, he had the 5 eliminations, I thought, oh, maybe he's going to keep going. He's going to get to 13, and then the next entrant, right when he hits the 13 eliminations, the next entrant is going to be Brock Lesnar, right? And he's going to have to throw Brock Lesnar out, and he's going to be like, you're out, and also, I just broke your record.
Right.
That would have hit the crack, man. That's what I thought they were building up towards. And so when the elimination of Oba actually went down, I just like threw my hands in the air and I'm like, well, there goes that.
Brock Lesnar still strong after the Rumble.
Been very, very exciting. I love to have double. Thank you, No Nation. That was hilarious. Okay. With that being said, we're finally gonna get a better place for her to return, and that's what the watch along that stuck around for the post-show review. I want to thank.
Alright. I'll show you all the other podcasters.
Tossed out during a Jey Uso entrance. And he was tossed out, I think, by like Cody, and 2 men threw him out. Cody and Logan, or 2 guys threw him out, I can't remember who. But the fact that they wasted an elimination like that when you had Obafemi, who ironically was eliminated by Brock, but you had a lot of other guys, including a Powerhouse Hobbs debut tonight, that you could have had Brock face off with, and somebody could have eliminated Brock that would have sparked maybe a program between them. And I thought for sure it would be Gunther, but it wasn't. Turned out Randy Orton was the one eliminated by Gunther, so it sounds like it might be legend killer versus career killer at WrestleMania, because we also didn't see anything in the Rumble happen that would lead us to believe that Cody versus Randy is the plan for WrestleMania. If it was, I think we would have gotten a lot more teases of that in this match, and instead we got Gunther tossing out Randy. So I think it might be Gunther and Randy at WrestleMania, Roman and Punk, Cody and Drew, and I just don't know where that really leaves Brock. Maybe it's Brock and Oba, because Brock did eliminate Obafemi. So maybe it's Obafemi and Brock at WrestleMania. Maybe that's the direction they're heading in. I feel like it's a little bit easier to kind of piece things together now, or at least narrow it down, I should say, for the men in terms of what they do at WrestleMania. And the jury is still out as to what they're going to do for the women, as we saw Liv Morgan win. She was instrumental in Raquel Rodriguez's elimination, and of course Raquel has got a title shot on Monday, so there could be some things happening there. Overall, give me your thoughts on the Rumble. What do you think of the show? A, B, C, or D, 1 through 10. I don't think the show was bad. matches. I'm fine with the Rumble winners. I thought Gunther and AJ had a good match, and the way AJ kind of refused to take off the gloves there. I think the weakest match on the show, to me personally, could be different for you guys, was Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. Was expecting a little bit more drama out of that. We didn't really get it. I was expecting Drew to retain, but I kind of thought we'd be on a little bit more of a roller coaster there with the match. So that was a little bit disappointing, but not enough for me to give the show a shitty grade or anything. So off the top of my head, I got to give it a B, maybe even a B plus for the Royal Rumble. But there were some things in the men's Royal Rumble that kind of disappointed me. Some face-offs and showdowns we didn't get, and the waste of a Brock Lesnar elimination. And in terms of the surprises, not too freaked out that we didn't get Jericho or whatnot. It was in Saudi Arabia. It's a weird situation. In the Women's Rumble, the biggest surprise we got was Liv Morgan. I'm sorry, not Liv Morgan, Brie Bella. In the Men's Rumble, the biggest surprise we got was Powerhouse Hobbs showing up, and I thought it was really cool how they showed Powerhouse Hobbs on the Tron and then transitioned that into Royce Keys. We had already heard that Royce Keys was going to be his name because Royce is one of the names of his sons, and or the name of one of his sons, or his son, one or the other, and the last name is, I don't know, a mother or mother-in-law or something like that last name. So it's picked from the family, and I kind of wanted to have him a little bit bigger showing as well. We never even got a Royce Keys and Oba showdown, and I think we got a little bit of Hobbs and Brock. I can't remember now off the top of my head, but so the surprises were not major, but that's kind of okay because Saudi Arabia is kind of a different situation, and so it's going to be harder to have like major surprises. I didn't really think we would see Jericho, but a lot of fans thought we would. And we also had an interesting development right in the beginning. When Braun Breaker came out at number 2, he was attacked by a masked figure who stomped him. Obafemi was number 1, by the way, and Braun Breaker was immediately eliminated from the Royal Rumble. So there might be like a conspiracy against Breaker. Could be Seth, could be Adam Pearce. We have no idea who's going to wind up being under the hood once they do that reveal. Might even be Austin Theory, who's like a mole. Maybe Rollins hired Theory, because remember Theory had to kind of get in the Vision at first. They didn't recruit him and put him under the hood and have him attacking people. He was doing that on his own, trying to get into the Vision. So maybe he's undercover. He's undercover, working for Rollins, and he's the one that stopped Braun Breaker. I think that's very likely. So there's some interesting things that happened too. It wasn't all bad. And the crowd looked really weird because, of course, they built this like modular stadium in just a month, less than a month, like 28 days or something like that. They put all this together, very impressive. I'm not just going to automatically assume it's slave labor I'm not just going to say it unless we actually know something about this, but they have the money and the resources to hire around-the-clock work, and they got that shit up there, and that's pretty damn impressive. But last night on SmackDown, which I missed the majority of, I did see people commenting about how light the crowd was. And then here at the Rumble, it was kind of deceiving. It looked like, well, there was definitely a bunch of empty seats, for sure, but maybe it didn't look quite as empty as we thought because there was like little lights on the seat. It was just hard to see. But once you got any sort of a wide shot or when the lights were down, you could see huge pockets all the way around the arena of empty seats. Now, that doesn't mean anything, though. I put up a funny tweet. I'm like, boy, think about the virgins who would go absolutely nuts if AEW had a show that looked like that. Of course, the Anger Boys got all butthurt. I'm like, it's just a joke, you snowflakes. I'm just kidding. I don't think WWE really cares. Production-wise, they probably care because it looks better when you have a full arena. But they ain't shedding any tears. They've already got their money. They're not relying on ticket sales for their revenue here. They're getting paid $1 billion by Saudi Arabia. If Saudi Arabia said, we want you to do this Royal Rumble in front of an empty arena like it's COVID, they would do it because that's how much money they are being paid. It doesn't really matter to WWE. So it's not a knock on WWE to have a lack of fans. All you got to do is look at the ticket sales here in the States for them and see how solid they are. As a matter of fact, Monday's Raw, you got like 11,000 fucking sellout in Philadelphia. So it's not like attendance is a problem in WWE for the snowflakes that couldn't handle that tweet. The little tiny little boys who couldn't handle that tweet. I was just kidding. My point was it looked light, and I'm wondering why. Number one, the show didn't start until 10 p.m. local time in Saudi Arabia. That's a very late time to start what turned out to be, how fucking many hours was this? A 4-hour show. So it ended at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon here in California. But the show didn't even start until 10 o'clock. That's crazy. It's also Riyadh season, lots of other shit going on. There was some sort of ticket scandal, too, or something that was going on that I kind of vaguely read about. So maybe these things factored in, I don't know. But the crowd was definitely way lighter than what the building could hold. Or the capacity was, but it doesn't fucking matter. It's not a gotcha. I'm not like, oh, WWE, you got light crowds or whatever. It just looked weird. It's not very fun to look at a Big Four pay-per-view, WWE's arguably second or third biggest show of the year, depending on, what your favorites are, to have a crowd that looks that fucking empty. It reminded me of WrestleMania 37, when sure, there was 25,000 fans there, but the place held 70. So, at least when AEW or WWE has got stadium shows, for example, I was at SummerSlam 2021, they only used half of Allegiant Stadium, but they packed them all onto one side, and it looked full. But the whole fucking half of the arena was completely bone-dry empty. Where here, they were just so spread out, where if they just had them all down at once, it probably wouldn't look so bad. They did that for All In Texas, too. Just put them all on one side, so at least it looks, full from one angle. So it just kind of looked weird, but as the show went on, it looked like a few more fans got there, and the hard cam shot of the audience was pretty impressive. It looked like there was plenty of fans right there in the first level, but whenever you got some sort of a wide shot glimpse, it looked like the crowd was light. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't mean, I'm not anti-WWE or whatever. It doesn't mean anything like that. Not tribal, nothing like that. It's just a fucking observation. If you have two eyes, that's something that you recognize. But the Anger Boys who tweet all the empty hard cam pics, they're all up their own asses about it. I'm like, just chill. WWE's still doing fine. Stand up for WWE. They're still doing great. Ticket sales through the roof here in the States. I just didn't like the look of a show this large, having that few people there, and it makes me nervous for WrestleMania next year. Because again, WWE's gotten their money from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia paid them an ungodly amount of money to put WrestleMania over there, clearly. So they don't really give a fuck how many people are in the arena. It doesn't matter. They're getting paid. The money is coming in. Shareholders are happy. Shareholders don't give a shit about the attendance either. They care about that stock price. And it doesn't matter if next year's WrestleMania has 7 people in the audience. WWE is profiting hugely from it. So it doesn't even matter that there wasn't many people there. It just didn't look that good production-wise. That's all I'm saying. So we'll see how not only WrestleMania goes next year, but there's still 2 more Saudi Arabia shows this year that I'm assuming will be back in the smaller venue for whatever those are. But those were some of the noticeable things about the show. But the crowd, they were into it. They were very vocal, very good about singing everybody's songs, and sang Randy's and sang Cody's and sang everybody's. The only thing I had a hard time hearing was the Royal Rumble countdowns. 10, 9, 8. I was missing it every time. I didn't notice it until it got down to 1, and the songs, and it's extremely loud. So those are a few of my early takeaways here from the Royal Rumble. I don't know if they're on their own for their gear. They got to get their own gear. I'm happy to have Bianca back. I'm ready for her to come back. I hope she's doing well. I hope her finger, her hand, or whatever's going on with her is healed up. And I'm all for a Bianca Belair return to TV ASAP. I just didn't necessarily need her returning here in the Rumble, especially when, there's more than one world champion.
I think taxes are something that makes all of us panic, whether or not you want to admit it.
Leaving us with 2 women left. Possible now. And that left us with number 30. Was not WrestleMania, then you're going to struggle for material or to fill the times. Announce it. We as fans knew that she was going to be there. So I was like, well, if one of them's Tiffany, who's the other one going to be? We were kind of, okay, there was a little bit of time there in the beginning. Valid Hall of Fame career. That is crazy. Not to mention everything he did before he came to WWE and what he might likely do after leaving. So after Gunther wins, AJ Styles is left in the ring alone. He's emotional. You can see it on his face. I do believe that this probably was AJ Styles' final WWE wrestling match. I don't think he will wrestle in the WWE again. And he stood in the ring and all emotional, started looking down at his hands,
It could be my last
unzipping
year
his
in pro
gloves,
wrestling. It could be my last year in
takes his
WWE.
gloves off. He's going to lay them right
I don't
there in
know
the
if
middle of the
I wanna
ring
do it
and leave
WrestleMania.
them there and walk out.
I actually don't want
Takes
to
his
take
gloves
away
off.
from
Here
you know,
comes
what
the
John
emotional
Cena
moment.
had. I think might take
Goes
away
to
from
set
that.
the gloves down
I'm gonna do it
and
after
stops.
Rumble. Cause that's where it all started. That's when I made my debut.
Sorry, my neighbor is singing. Goes to put the gloves down, and he stops. And he picks them back up, and he just shakes his head no, and he puts the gloves back on. So that right there, I think, is telling us that we are going to see him again. Now, I think TNA is obvious for AJ Styles. I think AJ Styles going to TNA, winning the title there, getting a little bit of a run or something, a nostalgia run in TNA would be TNA's version of Hulk Hogan coming back to the WWE in two. That's probably the way it went. So we, but it was 18, so I knew the first 18 Vianos, and I lost track after that. So we might get like 20 El Grande Americanos. We will have to see, but both of them got eliminated here. So Logan Gable is back under the mask for the purposes of wrapping this shit up and becoming Chad Gable again and actually being a serious contender for a fucking championship. Triple H, are you listening? Of course you're not. Guess who was out at number 14? Powerhouse Hobbs. Powerhouse Hobbs flashes up on the Tron, and I'm like, holy shit. And I was just about to say, I thought he was going to be known as Royce Keys. Stayed home. Trick Williams was the number 10 entrant, and I think he got, I thought, was a way to somewhat protect him. So if he got eliminated, it wouldn't look like he got bitched out. So Obafemi was number 1, and then Braun Breaker was number 2. So right off the bat, we're like, cool, meat versus meat. So Braun Breaker comes all the way down the ramp, and right when he gets to the ring, he's attacked right out of the gate by a hooded figure who attacks him, beats him down, and hits him with a stomp. Jumps over the barricade and flees. So who is the hooded figure going to be? I don't, a lot of people are like, oh, it's Seth Rollins. Yeah, Seth might be the reveal, but he certainly wasn't who was under the hood there. Another idea that I like is Austin Theory. Because if we remember Austin Theory, it's not like it was a big plan by Division to put a hood on him and have him attack people. He was doing that on his own, trying to score a position with Division. That's exactly what undercover cops do. When they're trying to take down a drug ring or something, they go undercover. They pretend to be a dealer so they can get in good. They don't just show up there one day and be like, hey, I want to be a drug dealer with you guys. No, it takes time to kind of build trust and whatnot, and then they get in there and they infiltrate them and they take them down. So maybe Rollins, after Breaker attacked him, when Rollins was injured and they had to do the injury angle with Breaker beating him. Listening. Of course you're not. Guess who was out at number 14?
Hold on, another damn commercial.
Military in my family. I knew that I wanted to go back to school and
All right.
produce a big name.
So it was Brock at 2020, or Brock at 22, Miz at 23, Ray Phoenix at 24, got dumped out right away, and then I want, because I think bad enough of those two guys. So Roman is out next at number 26. Then it's Jacob Fott and Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed, incidentally, he was the one that eliminated Royce Keys. So Royce Keys was not in the ring for very long. He had a couple of interactions with some guys in there, one with Cody. About that. So Cody, I forget who he's battling, but Cody gets dumped over the top rope, but he's still on the apron. And then off camera, you see a flying set of feet that nail Cody Rhodes right in the face. I thought it was Roman Reigns got on the outside of the ring and hit him with a drive-by. It was a Claymore. I guess the Claymore and drive-by is the same fucking move, huh? But I thought that's what it was. But then when the long-haired stud revealed himself, it was Drew McIntyre. I'm like, oh, shit. Cody got eliminated by Drew McIntyre, who wasn't even in the match. Wow, that's kind of telling. Leaving the final four is Roman, Randy, Gunther, and Logan Paul. So they get Logan's fucking ass out of there, and now it's down to Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, and Gunther. Gunther eliminates Randy Orton. Okay, good. Leaving Gunther and Roman Reigns as the final two, with Roman Reigns getting the better of Gunther, tossing him over the top rope and winning the Royal Rumble. So some of those interactions in the match there might be telling the story for WrestleMania. I was saying that I was expecting Gunther and Brock to do something to set up a WrestleMania match. It might be Gunther and Randy Orton, because Gunther eliminated Randy Orton. Now you've got yourself a career killer versus a legend killer, potentially for WrestleMania. Now, we've already seen Gunther and Randy, I think. I don't remember. I feel like we have. So that match is going to happen again. Was that like the King of the Ring final or something? Is that what it was? Randy and Gunther and Orton. What would... What? So maybe it's Roman challenging Drew McIntyre, and then Cody is like, Drew, you piece of shit, you eliminated me, I never got my rematch. And then maybe there's a deal where Nick Aldis or somebody makes a match for Cody that says, if you win, you get added to the WrestleMania match. And then it's Roman, Cody, Drew. Triple threat for the championship. I could see them doing that. I think what I would prefer is for Roman Reigns to challenge CM Punk. I think that would be crazy fun. We've got Raw on Monday. Roman is the Rumble winner. Instead of waiting all the way to SmackDown to set this shit up with Drew, you could do stuff in Philly on Raw. Last time Roman had Royal Rumble things happen to him in Philly, it was not good. So now here we are, 11 years later. He comes out on Raw. He's confronted by CM Punk, and maybe CM Punk goads him into picking him. I want you to pick me, because if I'm going to call myself the best in the world, I need to test myself against this company's best. And unfortunately, Cody Rhodes isn't the champion right now, so that just leaves you. Or Cody Rhodes didn't win the Royal Rumble, you did. And you held the title for 4 years. I think I can beat you. I think you should just pick me. And then Roman does, and then Cody winds up getting the match against Drew. But that, I don't know, Cody and Drew, I don't know how exciting that is for WrestleMania, That's why I'm starting to doubt Chamber and challenging Punk. He might find his way into the Roman and Drew. Comes somebody else. Out this evening, I appreciate it, and I will be catching you.
Here he comes.
Alright, gonna show y'all Solomon.
Here comes the Jew.
Was the definition of...
Hold on. Hold on.
groundwork and kind of set things up for success, and he's been waiting for somebody else to step up to the plate and kind of take the baton and run with it. Talked about the young talents who he says complain about guys like him hogging up all the TV time, which can't possibly be true of Roman Reigns, because if we get him 3 or 4 times in a 6-month period, that's a lot. So I don't know who the young guys are referring to. Certainly not Roman Reigns when they talk about that. But this is part of what he said. He said, I give them plenty of space to create whatever type of superstardom they want. Get over. That's what he said. Get over. Get over, kids. You know what I mean? And we're 2 years here now, and we haven't advanced. We haven't evolved. 2 years, of course, in reference to the amount of time that it...
Dominic Mysterio returned to AAA next week. During the announcement, Corey Graves hinted that his appearance may do something, have something to do with Grand Americano. Thank God that Dominic is coming back on TV after being out with an injury. He's still the IC champion and the AAA Mega champion.
Has gone by since he lost the WWE Championship to Cody Rhodes in Philadelphia at WrestleMania. Well, he's right about one thing. We haven't evolved. Because Roman Reigns, the same Roman Reigns who declared for the Royal Rumble via on-screen graphic, is your 2026 Royal Rumble winner. Put those fingers to the sky. The OTC is going to WrestleMania. He has punched his ticket, and it's funny to listen to him, again, whether in kayfabe or not, telling the younger talent to get over. You got to go out there and you got to get over. We haven't advanced, right? You got to get over. Someone's got to get over. And this is from a guy who was pushed very hard from day one, in spite of not being as over as the company wanted him to be as a babyface, right? If anybody in here has been a wrestling fan for the last decade, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because it's been 11 years of Roman Reigns. In fact, it was 11 years ago that Roman Reigns last won the Royal Rumble. And when he won the Royal Rumble, he was booed out of the building. They booed The Rock. The Rock. All because he got in the ring and raised his cousin's arm. They booed The Rock. That is how much the fans rebelled against what WWE and Vince McMahon were doing with Roman Reigns all those years ago. We don't want him. We don't want him as the top babyface, right? Because I think things would have been very different had they gone and turned Roman heel a lot earlier than they did. Now, in the end, it all worked out. We got the tribal chief, right? So, hey, things happen for a reason. But it really wasn't all that long ago that you and I can remember a time when Roman Reigns was being pushed over anybody and everybody else at the expense of other people in the company. And who knows if those people would have gone on to be bigger stars or not. But at the expense of everybody else, it was all about Roman. Roman was the hand-picked chosen one. And whether the fans wanted it or not, whether he was over or not, we're going to push Roman Reigns. He's our guy. And so here we are all these years later. I don't know, it's just funny to me to hear him making comments like that and saying, well, you got to get over it. If only everybody would be so lucky as to have had the endorsement of the man in charge and be pushed as heavily as he was all those years ago. Perhaps some of them would. But now he stands before us with his second Royal Rumble win. He won a Royal Rumble that, as I mentioned before, the word I would use to describe it is mediocre. And when it was over, we were faced with either Roman Reigns now going to WrestleMania. By the way, going to WrestleMania to break his own record for the greatest number of main events in WrestleMania history. I'm pretty sure he already owns the record, especially if you count these two-night WrestleManias. In Philadelphia 2 years ago, he got 2 main events. So he owns the record. He'll break his own record this year. And now the question is, which championship is he going to challenge for? Because he must be challenging for a championship, even though he was already the WWE champion for 1,300 days. Why not do it all over again, or at least tease the possibility? So right now, the champions are CM Punk. He is the World Heavyweight Champion. And Drew McIntyre, after tonight, is still the WWE Champion, which I don't think anybody is surprised about because I don't know how many people honestly expected Sami Zayn to leave Riyadh as the WWE Champion. Probably not very many, especially judging by the reaction that match got tonight. Let's begin.
This is definitely a good snack to grab if you're on the go.
Roman Reigns against CM Punk is the more interesting of the two options. It's not a match that I'm necessarily opposed to. There's certainly bad blood. There's history. There's been wars of words between the two men. We saw the interaction between them in War Games a couple of years ago. Although they seemed to be okay with each other at the end of War Games this past year. It was Roman and Cody who were still teasing a potential issue. But Roman Reigns one-on-one, not in a triple threat like last year, one-on-one with CM Punk, is a match that would be a big match to do and has some appeal. And Roman, a few years ago on a podcast, actually a few years ago, it was a year ago, he was on a podcast, and he was talking about the World Heavyweight Championship, which he has always talked about as being beneath the WWE title. And he was asked, well, how would you try to increase the value of the World Heavyweight Championship? And he said, well, have me hold it. If I win it, the value automatically goes up. Without me, it doesn't mean as much. So maybe they could factor that into a storyline. I mean, those are comments that you would think would be brought up, right, if we end up getting a storyline between him and CM Punk. But we also have the possibility of Roman Reigns maybe against Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. And again, it's not, as a match, it's not a match that I would hate to see, and there's certainly history there with Drew being screwed over by Roman and the Bloodline so many times. And it would be something other than Drew McIntyre against Cody Rhodes, which I certainly don't want to see again at WrestleMania. But there's just something about, there's something about that match, there's something missing there. especially if the idea is that Roman would go into WrestleMania and win back the belt, which absolutely should not happen. Let us not forget that Roman Reigns is not full-time. Roman Reigns will never again be a full-time performer. And the idea of putting a championship back on Roman Reigns, as popular as he is, makes no sense to me whatsoever. And that really is at the heart of the issue that I have with him, even though I predicted him to win the Rumble. I didn't say I wanted him to win the Rumble, but it was so obvious to me that he was very likely going to win the Royal Rumble. But I don't have any use of seeing him holding a championship. We've already seen him with an iron fist ruling for 1,300 days as the WWE champion. And what a run it was that he had, but now it's over. And it's time for other people to take the title and take the mantle, right? Take the baton and run with it. And Roman, he could be a special attraction on the show, but yet here he is yet again back in the main event challenging for a title. We're also faced with a possibility, a very real possibility, that Drew McIntyre may not make it into WrestleMania as the WWE champion. There are reports out there that he's supposed to, and he's going to walk in there as the champion. There have been a lot of reports, and 50% of them might be right, 50% of them probably are not. Plans also change, which if you watch WWE Unreal, you would know that very well. We could very well have Cody Rhodes winning back the championship at the Elimination Chamber. Now, he could be in the Elimination Chamber, but he could also win the belt back at the Elimination Chamber. Drew McIntyre is the one who helped eliminate Cody Rhodes from the Royal Rumble tonight. The issue between the two of them is far from over. So if Cody were to win the championship back, I mean, Roman's going to have to make a choice soon. I don't think there's a time limit. But maybe there is. I don't know. It all depends, I guess, on when he makes his decision. Elimination Chamber is still a month out. But the possibility of Cody Roman 3 is still very much alive. Another match that I do not need to see again at WrestleMania for, what would that be, the third time in 4 years? Yeah, no thank you. I don't look at this as being a lot of great options. It just feels like old hat. It just feels like we're going back to the same well that we always go to because we're just too afraid. We're just too afraid to break out of that and try something a little bit different. Talk about playing it safe. I used that term before when it comes to Triple H and WWE. Of course, for them, it's understandable because it's the easy thing to do. You just go with your big stars who no one is saying Roman is not over. You heard the reaction he got when he came out tonight. But for them, it's very easy. Well, let's just go with our big stars. They're the ones that are going to be the most recognizable. They're the ones that are going to be the most well-liked in theory. They're the ones that are going to be on the marquee, and we can market WrestleMania around, and we'll just keep doing that until it doesn't work anymore.
The way you see an idea in your mind and shape it into something that could only come from you. This is how website creation should be. Wix Harmony, the new way to create.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on making the most craveable chicken finger meals, getting them right every time.
It was a good night, though, in the Rumble for a few people, other than Roman Reigns. Powerhouse Hobbs, who made the jump from AEW to WWE, made his debut in the Royal Rumble, actually coming out to that name before it quickly transitioned into his new name. It's the same thing they did with Kenta many years ago when he debuted in NXT, right? It was Kenta, and then it changed to Hideo Itami. So they did that with Powerhouse Hobbs, and it was good to see him in that match, and I hope the best for him. He took a chance on himself. He wanted to try something different, new surroundings, new people to work with, new opportunities, new horizons. I hope he finds all the fame and fortune he's looking for. No Chris Jericho in the Royal Rumble. I can't say that I'm terribly disappointed by this, mildly surprised, but we talked about this in the lead up to the Rumble where there's a chance that maybe, especially in Jericho's mind, he would rather come back and have a return that is, kind of divorced from all the noise of the Royal Rumble where you have other people who are making their return or other people who are making their debut. He's one of many. And maybe it's better of his return, because it would be a big deal, him coming back, first time back in, 7 or 8 years. Let it breathe and stand on its own. I have every expectation that we're going to be seeing Jericho and AJ Lee back on television very soon. AJ Lee was another one who surprised me. She was not in the Women's Royal Rumble. But I have every reason to believe that she will be the one wrestling Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. So those were two surprising things in terms of who did not show up on the show tonight. But for NXT, you look at the NXT influence in both of these Rumbles, right? It was very evident in terms of people who either were making their first appearance or were recently called up. Obafemi made his debut, main roster debut here in the Royal Rumble. You have other names also like Javon Evans, who recently became full-time on Monday Night Raw. Javon Evans was in the Rumble tonight for over 40 minutes. Not bad. Not bad for his first Rumble. Sol Ruka, Lola Vice, JC Jane, right? I mean, there was a lot of NXT influence. Trick Williams, a lot of NXT influence on the show. And that's great because they need these guys to get over. They need these guys and gals to kind of take that spotlight and run with it and become the next Roman Reigns, become the next big star, Rhea Ripley, whoever. Because this is where we are right now. You know, there's a lot of guys on that roster who have been around forever. And after a while, it gets old, and you're just looking for new stars to step up. And we kind of got a little bit of a taste of that tonight, right? They're not quite there yet, but it's encouraging, right? There's hope for the future. So it was a good night for Obafemi and a lot of those names. And, you know, the thing about it, though, I joke about Triple H when he makes, I mean, how many fucking times do we hear from Triple H about, oh, it's a new era? Tonight, it's the start of a new era. How many fucking times has he said this in the last few months, right? So there he is on the post show, and he's talking about the Royal Rumble, and he makes a comment about how it's a new era. I don't even care if it makes sense in the context that he was using it in today. There's no way that he is oblivious to the fact that we have at least one new era every month from Triple H. He does it on purpose at this point. I'm convinced he does it on purpose. Every month we have a new... I can't wait to find out what the new era in the month of February is going to be. What do you think the new era in March? And then April. April's WrestleMania. That's going to be a big new era. I can't wait to find out. So yes, if you were wondering on the post show, Triple H did mention yet another new era. So if you have that on your bingo card or if you're playing a drinking game, go ahead and take a shot. So there were a few positive takeaways from this year's Royal Rumble. Not enough to make this a great show. A few fun moments or a few positive takeaways, that's great, right? That's better than none. But this was not a great show. This was not a great Royal Rumble. The best thing on the Royal Rumble was actually neither of the Rumble matches themselves. The best thing on the Royal Rumble card here was actually the saddest thing on the show, which was AJ Styles, for the final time inside a WWE ring. He did in fact step in there with Gunther, and he lost. He lost in a match that was exactly what I would have wanted the John Cena match to be at Saturday night's main event. And you would think it would have been, because John Cena, I mean, look, in the context of WWE, Cena was around longer. Cena was far more important to WWE and a bigger star in WWE than AJ Styles was. But AJ had the send-off match with Gunther that Cena should have had. I loved everything about the match itself. I thought the match was great. It was easily the best thing on the entire show. It was an emotional roller coaster with a lot of the near falls, and the fans were invested, and of course they would be, because the stipulation, how can you not be? AJ is this beloved figure in the company. He's been wrestling all these years, and now the possibility that his career could be over. You knew that that stipulation was going to make every near fall in that match, every submission hold, that much more dramatic. I thought it would happen in April. We got it a lot sooner than I thought we would. But it's still sad, because he lost. And no, I don't think that he's going to go back on his word or it's some kind of angle. At least in WWE, AJ Styles is done. And that really is the question, which we'll get into later. Is he truly done? Is he done? Or is he only done in WWE? The way Triple H was talking about it on the post show, he made it sound like AJ told him he's done. Like, fully done. Whether or not you believe that. Whether or not that's the case, that remains to be seen. The Women's Royal Rumble. The Women's Royal Rumble cleared the Men's Royal Rumble this year. I don't think I would have said that last year. I remember thinking the Men's Rumble last year was actually very good. I know a lot of people shit on it because Jey Uso won and everything, but I actually thought it was a very strong Men's Rumble last year. The Women's Rumble was easily the better of the two this year, at least the second half of it. The first half was just the definition of mid. And then in the second half is where it really picked up. And I actually thought the finish was very dramatic and very well done. Liv Morgan is going to WrestleMania. She is going to challenge the champion of her choice. And boy, Bianca Belair, man, she must be super fucked up. And she was not in the Rumble. And so that just makes me sad. But I have no issue with Liv winning. I figured I said it the other day. Bianca is not in the Rumble. Liv is my pick to win. I think it's well-deserved. She's one of the biggest stars in the company, really, but certainly on Monday Night Raw. So I have no issue with her going to WrestleMania and wrestling for a championship. One of the surprises that we got on the show, and I wouldn't say it was a night where we had a ton of surprises. There were a few in the Rumble matches. One of the surprises I legitimately was not expecting. Like, I knew Nikki Bella was going to be in the Rumble. It was kind of spoiled the other day because somebody had uploaded a video. They were testing inside the stadium the screens and everything, and her Tron was there. Her logo was there. So I knew she was going to be there. What I was not anticipating was I'm sitting here and I'm doing my notes and I'm looking over and I'm watching the Rumble, and then I hear Bree Mode! And I know that many of you probably immediately ran to Twitter to see, and I reacted instantly. And what I typed out on Twitter was my actual instant reaction. Oh God, no. As soon as I heard it. But would you believe that of all the people that we saw on the show tonight, if you had to rank them and have a top 5, a top 3 of who got the biggest and best reactions of anybody on the entire show, fucking Brie Bella got one of the biggest reactions of anybody on the entire show. I mean, this stadium, and whether you want to attribute it to who she's married to because they were doing Yes Chick, doesn't matter. She came out, this place went absolutely out of their minds. And I don't know what that says about us as a people, that in 2026, the Bella twins and Brie Bella are the most over thing on the show. That I was not expecting. But as soon as I heard the opening chords, it was just the memories that came flooding back into my head. If you remember the MRI story that I told on the podcast many years ago, this is where it all goes back to. I had an MRI many years ago for something, and if you've ever had an MRI, you got to lay very still inside this tube, and it can be claustrophobic, but they let you listen to music. And I said, great. I have my phone or whatever, you can play music. I have just the definition of any sort of...
I was the first one to ever join the military in my family. When I got out, I knew that I wanted to go back to
any sort of real heat. It did not have any sort of reaction that would indicate people were terribly invested in this match, which I will say was surprising given how popular Sami Zayn is over there in Saudi Arabia. I mean, every time he goes there now, they cheer for him. He's like a returning hero. And he got a positive reception. You heard it on SmackDown last night. But this was as heatless a WWE Championship match. It's kind of sad for me to sit here and tell you that the WWE title match was the come-down match. It was almost like, you've heard about the piss break match, right? That's kind of what this was on this show. And Drew McIntyre wins. He is now 12-0 in his career against Sami Zayn. He's running up the score. And that was it. But I think a lot of it also had to do, frankly, with the fact that they were in a terrible spot on this show, because this match came immediately after the AJ Styles match with Gunther, where AJ was retired, and people were just stunned and sad and disappointed. It's like when the Undertaker streak came to an end at WrestleMania. I want to say it was maybe the Divas Battle Royal, or there was some sort of Divas match, I think, that came right after it. I was in the building for that WrestleMania, and I vaguely even remember what came after. Like, it's weird how your memory works, what you remember and what you don't. Everything else after that, except for the main event, was just a blur. But I vaguely remember, I think it was a women's match and AJ Lee won and Vicky Guerrero was out there, but it's like spotty, you know, in my memory. So when you have this big, dramatic finish to a match, especially something that's just shocking, it definitely, I wouldn't want to have to go out there and follow that. So I definitely think there was some of that going on in that match. But when the show was over, the word I kept coming back to was underwhelmed. I was underwhelmed by this year's Royal Rumble, and let me tell you, there was some horrendous booking and just bizarre decisions that were made in terms of some of the things that were done, in particular during the men's match. And when it came to certain spots and eliminations, like, my mind is still blown that Brock Lesnar was eliminated from the Royal Rumble while Jey Uso was still yeeting in the middle of his forever entrance. Like, I'm watching this going, what the fuck? Who the fuck booked that? There were certain eliminations that should have been more impactful and should have meant more than they did, and they were just kind of done, and I don't know. There were a lot of very bizarre things that happened in that match. But yeah, the Jey Uso entrance, some people say it still might be going on. I'm not sure the entrance is even done. I'll let you know when it is, because we're going to go through this entire show here. This is your 2026 Royal Rumble review. I am the Solemn Monster. I want to thank you for joining me here on a Saturday night. It was a little bit different than usual because the Royal Rumble for the first time was at 2 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Time. We've never had a Royal Rumble that early before because they were over in Riyadh, so this is certainly a change. Normally, I'd be watching the Rumble, probably going live in a couple of hours, but it's nice to be live with you a little bit earlier than usual. Like and subscribe. Super chats are open, or I will open them back up here in a moment. We do have a bonus goal, super chat goal going on in the chat. Gee, I wonder if there might be a certain donation that pops up tonight. I guess we'll find out. But get those messages in. I'm going to be reading them. I want to know what you guys thought, genuinely, of these Royal Rumble matches in this entire show. So get them on in. Also, you knew we were going to do this. We have to bring out the wheel. So what we do here, if you're new here, we usually have a likes goal. There's a little segment at the end we do called Be the Booker, which is unique to this channel. And so we have to hit the number of likes needed to do Be the Booker. And I'm going to take this wheel for a spin real quick. And we're going to find out how many likes you guys need to get for us to do Be the Booker. That music. You guys thought.
TaxAct knows early birds get the worm, so you can quickly file the moment tax season opens.
You dumped out Candace and Lola. And then she eliminated Ivy Nile. Nia put a stop to her momentum, and Nia Jax ended up out on the apron with Alexa Bliss. As Alexa and Charlotte, they were both trying to get rid of Nia. Alexa was on the apron, Charlotte was in the ring. So Charlotte hits the ropes on the opposite side. She comes off with a big boot. She dumped out both Bella twins. She dumped out Jordan Grace. She dumped out Io Sky. She was the dominant one in the Royal Rumble this year. And then we'll see what the fallout is from Charlotte accidentally eliminating Alexa, Liv dumping Raquel, Kyrie eliminating Asuka. It's one of the things I liked about the Women's Rumble when it was over. They had a few different spots and sequences like that where there's going to be fallout. And you will have to tune into the television to see where it goes. But there's no way there's not going to be some sort of consequence for these friends, right? For partners eliminating their other partner. So we have some stories now coming out of this week to promote it. They're just throwing it out there. CM Punk and AJ Styles, first time ever in WWE, and it's for the World Heavyweight Championship. They are speed running through this because he is leaving, because he is done at the Royal Rumble. That's when I knew it was over. Like, I did a total 180. I said, holy shit, he really is done. He got a couple of big wins over Cody. And it's just little moments like that that might burn it in his brain. Like, it's 20 years since he won the Royal Rumble. He won the Rumble in 2006. It's 2026. And Rey Mysterio is still out there in the Royal Rumble flying around. 50 years old. Troll. until Sammy dumped him from the ring. He followed. And he wants to know why Braun Breaker is being forced to enter the Royal Rumble at number 2. So they switched it from 1 to 2. Now there's no difference between 1 and 2. It is literally the same thing. You are both starting the Royal Rumble. The bell will ring. It is no different whatsoever. So that was the big change that they made here. So out first, the new number 1 here in the Royal Rumble was the ruler, Oba Femi. Former NXT champion, did not lose his title. He left it, quite literally, laying in the middle of the ring, and he vacated it to move on to bigger and better things. So he comes out, and if there was ever a prospect out of NXT that was a sure thing on the main roster, it's this guy. And if it goes any other way, unless he gets himself in some sort of disciplinary trouble, that's about the only thing, that or injury, that could derail this man's career. If this man is not a world champion soon enough, if this man is not in the upper echelon of talents in the main event scene in this company inside of a year, then all of the people in charge of booking Oba Femi should be relieved from duty and replaced with somebody else. Because if ever there was a sure thing, he's a sure thing. Every single box that you could possibly want to check on what you would be looking for in a professional wrestler, he checks that box. And you know they love the size, right? He just towers over everybody. But he can do it all. So he comes out. Everyone's doing, like, he does the dance on the way to the ring. Everyone in the crowd, they're doing the Oba dance, right? I'm going to start doing that. Logan Paul was very agreeable. Eyes, right? He just towers over everybody. But he can do it all. So he comes out. Everyone's doing, like, he does the dance on the way to the ring. Everyone in the crowd, they're doing the Oba dance. That's right. I'm going to start doing that when I walk into the store. I wasn't winning shit with.
Get tax expertise without hidden fees.
Shit with that. So my only hope was number 4. And number 4 was Ring. And this person, whoever this person is, gives him a stomp. Gee, I wonder who they want you to think it is. And I thought he was going to pull the thing down, get a big pop. It was Seth Rollins, right? And Seth Rollins doesn't even have to be clear to wrestle for him to just deliver a stomp. He never revealed himself, probably because Seth Rollins did not make the trip to Saudi Arabia. Now, he may end up being revealed in the end as the masked man, but again, it would be a little too obvious, right? Just like when Austin Theory showed up and he stomped, who did he stomp in the War Games match to win it for the Vision? And then, we come to find out, oh, it's not Seth Rollins, it's Austin Theory. You can always substitute whoever you want to in there once you do the big reveal. I mean, it would be kind of interesting, honestly, if we come to find out that it was actually a member of the Vision. Now it wouldn't be Bronson Reed, obviously, because this person was very slender. So, like, if it was Theory or if it was Logan Paul. Logan Paul was very agreeable on TV the other night when, it might have been on Friday night, when he was like, the one member of the Vision who should win the Royal Rumble is Braun Breaker. I think we should all agree. He was a little too agreeable. So who knows? Maybe it ends up being Logan Paul and he ends up getting bounced out of the Vision. But it could just be also a placeholder for Seth Rollins when he's good and ready to come back. If they have a sense that maybe he'll be back sooner than later, that could be the WrestleMania match. It could be Seth Rollins against Braun Breaker. But we did not get a reveal because the officials came over and whoever the mystery man was, he jetted off into the crowd. But Braun Breaker ends up being put in the ring, and Braun Breaker gets eliminated promptly by Oba Femi. That was all Braun Breaker did. He did nothing in the Royal Rumble. He did not have one offensive maneuver in the Royal Rumble. He got jumped and he got dumped, and that was it. And that is a choice. Now, obviously, this is going to play into a story that will play itself out on TV, possibly with Adam Pearce involved. So maybe we'll look back at this in a few weeks and be like, okay, you know what? It was worth it. It made sense. But I'm watching this and I'm going, that's certainly a fucking decision. That's certainly one way to bounce Braun Breaker out of the Royal Rumble. It was shocking, I'll give them that. I don't know if it was good, but it was certainly surprising. So he was one of the favorites. And just like that, boom, gone. Solo Sikoa. He was out next at number 3. Speaking of people that will not be winning the Royal Rumble. No lantern to guide him to the ring. Oba ran right through him with a shoulder tackle. And now I'm sitting here and I'm pulling for number 4. I'm pulling for number 4 because, again, I have number 4 in our Facebook pool. Possibility of him coming to WWE and how different things might. Oba then knocks him down. Oba tries to, or he turns to eliminate Logan Paul, and Lesnar dumps out Oba Femi. So they did the reverse of what I was hoping they would do. And instead of having Oba eliminate Brock, which would have gotten this big reaction, it would have been a big statement elimination, they had Lesnar eliminate him instead. Now, if they still work towards an Oba Femi Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania, then maybe I look back and I'm like, all right, it was worth it because at least it got them kind of started in that direction. So I'll reserve judgment on that, but I was not happy about that. I was not happy about having Brock be the one to eliminate Oba. But overall, if you look at Oba's run here in the Rumble match, he had a pretty good run. I can't really complain. I mean, he got a bunch of eliminations. He was in there from the number 1 spot. So he looked pretty good. Again, it was a little odd having him be the one to be eliminated by Brock and not the other way around.
Old Spice gentlemen. Guess I've always been a gentleman.
So then, after this, it was time for number 25. Oh, man. It was Jey Uso, the winner of last year's Royal Rumble match. And Jey Uso is entering through the crowd, as he always does. And he stops, and he starts yeeting with the fans. And I don't know, they were showing the people in the section that he was in. And I wouldn't say that they were all just yeeting with him. I think they were waiting for him to get to the ring, frankly. But, you know, the yeeting thing is a big fun thing that the live fans do when they're in the crowd. But we're in the middle of a Royal Rumble here. And this man is coming through the crowd and he's yeeting. So, Cody Rhodes and LA Knight in the ring as this is going on. Cody Rhodes and LA Knight, they clothesline Brock Lesnar out of the ring. And Brock Lesnar is eliminated. In the middle of Jey Uso, his music is still playing. And Jey Uso is still yeeting and still making his entrance to come into this match. And in the middle of all of this is when Brock Lesnar is eliminated. What the fuck? This is what I'm talking about. Like, there were certain spots and eliminations in this match that had me scratching my head. Like, who booked this? Who laid this out? In the middle of Jey Uso's entrance, where all the focus was on him, this was almost like an afterthought. The camera quickly cut so we at least could see the elimination. So his music is still playing. So finally, Jay's music ends. But then, of course, he decides we gotta run it back. We gotta run it back. Here in the middle of the Royal Rumble. So they play his music again. The next entrant, this has taken so long now, that the next entrant, the countdown is already in progress to the next entrant coming into the match here. And the next entrant is already on their way out. It's number 26. It is Roman Reigns. The tribal chief has reemerged for the first time since War Games. So Roman Reigns makes his way down to the ring just so we can get Roman and Jay. That's why this was all designed this way. So Roman gets into the ring, and we got a face-to-face with him and his cousin. And Roman is looking at him, and Roman goes, run it back. You're gonna run it back again, huh? So they play the music for a third fucking time. And then thankfully, Roman puts an end to this with a thrust. to Jey Uso, and they kill the music once and for all. So, choke slam from Roman to Javon Evans. Superman punch to Mike. It's best when you have multiple people, like the final 3, 4, 5, who all could conceivably win the Rumble. And at this point, you already know it's either Randy Orton or Roman Reigns. And to be perfectly honest with you, neither of those options are terribly exciting. Now, it would be maybe more so if Cody was still the champion, because then you get Cody and Randy, and that's a match they still haven't done for the title, right? We had the one King of the Ring final, and that was it. But it's still Roman Reigns and Randy Orton. Like, I can't help but just think to myself, why are we going back to this well? Why are we going back to this? And they're the only two possibilities that are left at this point. Logan Paul's not winning shit. Gunther is not winning the Royal Rumble. So, in terms of, like, past Rumble finishes, when we get down to the nitty-gritty and that final batch of, like, 3, 4, 5 guys, not a fan of what they did here with this. They made it a little too predictable. Logan went for the buckshot. He majorly fucked it up. He stumbled when he's gonna, I'm telling you, he's gonna blow a knee out, or he's gonna do something to himself one of these days. He's very unstable on his feet when he does the springboard, the vault into the ring. But he goes over for the buckshot, and kind of stumbles and nearly, he nearly wiped himself out. But Roman ends up dumping him out of the ring. So Gunther throws Orton, who takes a very slow, it's kind of like the way he wrestles his matches, a very methodical bump out to the floor. It's almost like he just sort of accepted his fate and just went with it. And so he falls to the floor. And now we're left with Roman Reigns, and now the Rumble's over. If it came down to Roman Reigns and Randy Orton, it's like, okay, this is 50-50. This could go either way. Once Orton was eliminated, the Rumble was over. We already knew who was winning. So it's Roman Reigns and it's Gunther. And Reigns backdropped him, only out to the apron though. Gunther gets the sleeper hold applied. Back and I'm like, all right.
Hold on to your hats, folks. Strange World Cup in North America has begun. And you would not believe what these guys are up to.
Who takes a very slow, it's kind of like the way he wrestles his matches, a very methodical bump. Like, 50 or 60 kids, whatever it is. Great, I get it, right? You want to balance work and life. That doesn't mean he needs to be the champion, or even necessarily fighting for a championship. So hopefully this will not end with him becoming the World Heavyweight Champion or becoming the WWE Champion. That's the one thing I do not want to see. I am done with it. I am tired of it. I am tired of seeing these part-time acts as they become part-time that are put in these positions because they're a big name, right? Oh, they're a big star. So we have to put a belt on them. And then we don't see them for 2 months, for 3 months. Because it kills the shows. When the champion isn't around, it kills the fucking show dead. And that's one of my biggest gripes when we are now faced with a WrestleMania picture where you have somebody like that who is going to be challenging for a championship. We can't have that again. We can't. I get Roman's a big name. We cannot have that again. Those are my thoughts on the Royal Rumble. Take them as you will. Let's take a look at the Twitter poll. What did you think of Saudi Rumble 2026? 23% thumbs up. That is not good. That is a terrible score. 34% thumbs in the middle and 42.6% thumbs down, with almost 4,000 votes in. And counting.
45 minutes? How about the way that the stadium looked? Where those events that's amazing to see. It's personally my favorite show of the year. Growing up as a young WWE fan, I always looked forward to the Royal Rumble. I mean, if you watch the current WWE product, the WWE seemingly forgot that there was even a Royal Rumble this year. It almost acted as if there was no Royal Rumble this year. Vince must be rolling over in his early grave. It's amazing to see because every couple of minutes, yeah, those 60-second intervals tonight really created a lot of excitement. Every couple of minutes, there's a new entrant that enters into the fray. So as this match goes on over the course of the hour that it takes or so, you're getting constantly surprised by who comes out next. And the strategy of what happens when that person comes out. This year is going to be no different. There's a lot of surprises in store, but also it's one of the most star-studded Rumbles that I can recall. You got Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, Jey Uso, Braun Breaker, who lasted about 6 seconds in the Royal Rumble. Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, they're all going to be in there. On the women's side, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, they're just stacked cards. This one is going to be epic. End quote. Chat, was the Royal Rumble epic? Was the Royal Rumble deserving of the word epic? La Parka. Yeah, man, that really signifies epic, huh? Mr. Iguana out there, that really signifies epic with his fucking stupid sock puppet. Brie Bella. Man, I couldn't wait for that Brie Bella WWE return. How about Braun Breaker getting eliminated in 3 seconds tonight? Is Braun Breaker in the category of quickest elimination of all time? From a mass assailant that WWE didn't even follow up on throughout the rest of the night. How about Jey Uso coming out there and running it back in the fucking Royal Rumble? How about Brock Lesnar getting eliminated during Jey Uso's yeeting in the crowd? How about Oba Femi, who lasted a good 40 minutes in the match, getting dumped unceremoniously without it being a big fucking deal? Does any of these things to you sound epic? No? How about the lack of crowd reaction in the Women's Royal Rumble for about 45 minutes? How about the way that the stadium looked, where it looked half fucking empty? Because WWE's gotta be ultra fucking in the fucking modern era with these fancy fucking lights. Bro, I couldn't tell if I was watching people enjoying a wrestling show or I was at a fucking rave with strobe lights everywhere. What is with the fucking lighting? When I watch a pro wrestling show, I want to see people, not something that resembles empty fucking seats. I hope that money was well worth it to go all the way over there so you could pocket $150 million for a fucking Royal Rumble that was fucking dead through the first hour of this show. WWE, they almost pretended like the Royal Rumble didn't even exist. It was only up until 3 weeks ago, where Cody Rhodes opened up the floodgates, and he declared himself for the Royal Rumble. And then we get all the usual suspects declaring themselves for the Royal Rumble. It's almost as if WWE was asleep. and they woke up and they realized, oh man, we gotta go to work. The non-existent Royal Rumble bill is one of the biggest. Just, I don't really get how WWE doesn't build for the Royal Rumble. And that's been like that for several years now. It's like they take the match for granted. Oh, we don't need any build. There's 30 guys, there's 30 ladies in there. They'll just figure it out when they get there. I want you to take a look at that Women's Royal Rumble. Which by the end of it, I would say the last 20 minutes or so was probably some of the best Women's Royal Rumble that we've got. But through the first 75% of that Women's Royal Rumble, it's not only bad that you got these women out there dressed in these ridiculous fucking Power Ranger costumes, making everybody look completely the same. Everybody's wearing black, and some of them are wearing colorful fucking outfits that really take away from everything else that's going on. Outside of the ridiculous looking outfits, WWE sent these women out there in what looked to be a stadium, Riyadh Season Stadium, that was built in 4 weeks with their fancy fucking lighting. They sent these women out there to compete in a 60-minute Royal Rumble to little to zero crowd reaction.
Find your perfect tax expert, whatever your tax situation might be. Hand off your taxes to an expert who gets you with TurboTax Expert Full Service.
You talk to them, you name them, but you gotta feed them too. With Miracle Grow.
40 minutes of this Royal Rumble. They sent women out there to basically wrestle. I thought I was watching the fucking Thunderdome, bro. I thought I was back in the fucking Thunderdome with virtual screens. In fact, the virtual screens were more charismatic and more energetic than the fucking people at Riyadh Season Stadium. If anybody feels bad for the women, you should feel bad for the women tonight that they had to go out there and wrestle in the fucking Royal Rumble, the most important match of the entire fucking year, in complete and utter irrelevant silence. I hope that blood money was fucking worth it. These people don't care about the fucking inconsequential talents on the roster, Candice LeRae, Jordan Grace. I mean, these people don't care unless you're Rhea Ripley or Becky Lynch or Charlotte Flair. They don't care. So why bother going over there? You're basically telling everybody that these people don't give a shit about your product outside of the handful of elite stars that you have on your roster. While everybody else is just there hoping to get a fucking sneeze out of somebody. It's disgusting. Disgusting. Now granted, there are some American crowds that do the same thing. But this is the Royal Rumble. Oh, it's big WrestleMania-like production. Oh, it's in Saudi Arabia. It's this, it's that, it's epic, it's this, it's that. I mean, give me a fucking break. Give me a break. The more you use WrestleMania for an event that's not WrestleMania, you devalue WrestleMania. That's number one. Number two, stop throwing around the word epic and monumental and all these other fucking buzzwords that Triple H loves to use. He never backs it up. How many times has Triple H came up to the plate, swung and missed when he's talking about the hype for this show? Bro, you put nothing into it. How the fuck are you gonna expect people to be excited about the epic Royal Rumble when you did nothing about any of the build? You put nothing into it. Oh, it's gonna be loaded with surprises. Brie Bella comes out. That was the only surprise in the Women's Royal Rumble. Brie Bella. Now, granted, she got a yes chant, but why are they yesing? They're not chanting for Brie Bella. They're fucking yesing because of who she's married to. I hardly consider J.C. Jane and Lola Vice and Kalani Jordan, who came out to fucking crickets, and Sol Ruka surprises. The Women's Royal Rumble doesn't need surprises, but I mean, the silence spoke more than anything about how awful these people are. The Women's Royal Rumble largely was a colossal waste. And then we got down to the maybe final 15 or 20 minutes. And like I said just moments ago, I feel like some of the eliminations in the Women's Royal Rumble were very well done. They were creative, they set up some potential stories, which we will get into. And then things got exciting when Brie Bella came out and she started throwing yes kicks around. Rhea Ripley was in there, and Io Sky was in there. Charlotte was still in there. Liv Morgan was in there. There were some great eliminations down the stretch. And the crowd seemingly came to life within the last 15 or 20 minutes. And I honestly think within that 15 or 20 minute block that we got at the end of that Women's Royal Rumble, it was some of the best Women's Royal Rumble that we've gotten since the ladies have gotten a Royal Rumble. I thought what they did was great down the stretch. The second half it wasn't even, I don't even believe I was watching the same fucking match, to be quite honest with you. It was like two different matches. The second half of that match is literally the only thing you have to concern yourself with. That's it. Liv Morgan ended up winning the Royal Rumble. Shocker, I know. If you're listening to the show, we've been calling it for the last several weeks. Liv Morgan won the Royal Rumble. See a lot of people complaining that Liv Morgan won the Royal Rumble. Liv Morgan, she's come up, I think, in the final two the last couple of years. So it was due. It was like a star player, you know, going up to the plate and hitting a home run, or hitting a baseball to the warning track, and he missed 2 home runs back-to-back at-bats. So the third at-bat, Liv Morgan comes up, hits a home run, finally goes over the fence. Great. I have no problem with Liv Morgan winning the Royal Rumble. None. Rhea Ripley's the most over female on the roster. She's half of the tag team champion. She wasn't going to win. Charlotte Flair lasted almost an hour. Thank God she didn't win. Her winning 2 years in a row would have been fucking awful. Who else on that roster would have benefited, storyline-wise, for winning the Royal Rumble? There was nobody else. Nobody else really made sense. WWE's got a couple ways that they could go about it now. With Liv Morgan, who won the Royal Rumble, but on her way to winning the Royal Rumble, she eliminated Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel Rodriguez was in there in the end, towards the end. She wasn't the final 2, but she was in there and made it to the very end, and she got dumped out by Liv Morgan. She had no hesitation dumping out Raquel Rodriguez. That story.
Welcome to the next generation of website creation. Wix Harmony. Get the power of AI.
No hesitation dumping out Raquel Rodriguez. That story. I'm looking forward to that. We could get something very, very... If WWE actually wants to not be safe, this would require them, we'll talk about it in a little bit, the thing that I'm thinking about would require Triple H to be a little bit more risky. Triple H, he watches Sesame Street every fucking week. That's where he gets his creative influence. So I doubt he's going to be adventurous or risky or take a chance. This guy's in bed by 8:30, tucking himself in, sipping a warm glass of milk. This guy is as safe as they come. Liv Morgan won the Royal Rumble. I have no problem with that. Like I said, there were some great eliminations. Kyrie eliminated Asuka accidentally. Becky Lynch was dumped unceremonious by fucking Natty. Jordynne Grace, don't get me started on Jordynne Grace. Oh my God, how they are botching her main roster run, and she hasn't even been here for a fucking month yet. She just got called up in the beginning of the month, and they're already fucking her up. man, she was dumped out of that Royal Rumble. I don't even think she lasted 10 minutes. Sol Ruka looked great. Lash Legend got booed with chance of overrated. She had a lot of eliminations, a lot of big eliminations. That goes to show you what WWE thinks about Lash Legend. All in all, the Women's Royal Rumble, outside of the last 20 minutes, was a fucking snooze fest. Nothing exciting happened. And that crowd, man, oh my God, those ladies deserve a lot more than that. What looked to be a half-empty crowd gave them absolutely a lifeless energy that was sucking the life out of me while watching this show. AJ Styles, he is no more. AJ Styles is now retired. We'll talk about how I feel about AJ being retired by Gunther tonight. I thought what they did was fantastic. The Gunther hate needs to stop. I see people, Gunther's boring. Gunther is not the type of guy I want in there. I don't know what you're watching. Maybe you need to go get your eyes checked or something. I don't know. Gunther is fucking great. He's the right guy for this role. Whatever they're doing with him, he's the right guy for this role. Would I have had him in the Royal Rumble come out at number 30? No. No. I don't know why they even put him in there to get eliminated in the Royal Rumble as the final two after he just retired AJ Styles. You just couldn't keep it at that? You couldn't keep it at that. Drew McIntyre. Again, I don't know what happened to this crowd. Their beloved Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn has never beaten Drew McIntyre. He is chasing a dream and going after the WWE Championship. You would think that these people would have showed this guy a little bit more excitement. It's almost as if Drew McIntyre wrestled a no-name in Saudi Arabia. I thought this guy was heralded as a hero there. Drew McIntyre decimated Sami Zayn. Now maybe that's why they were so quiet. It was so one-sided that I didn't believe Sami would even come back at all, period. There was a glimmer of a hope, but I didn't think it was going to happen. They just completely went in one direction and one direction only. But I've been talking about this the last 2 weeks. Sami Zayn's boat as WWE Champion passed. It should have happened in 2023, but they had other intentions in mind. Now, does everybody want to see Sami Zayn win the WWE Championship for some reason? I know I don't. This ship has sailed. And that's not even the only problem coming out of that match. The fact that Drew McIntyre got little to no reaction as the WWE Champion. Drew McIntyre is fucking great. But is this the guy you want walking into WrestleMania with reactions like that? Or is WWE possibly thinking about taking the belt off of Drew McIntyre and putting it back on Cody, being that Roman won the Royal Rumble? I don't want to label Drew McIntyre boring because he's not. He just needs the right opponent. I thought he had the right opponent in Saudi Arabia with Sami Zayn. Apparently we were wrong. I don't know why the match was so fucking boring. No build went into it. Triple H needs to look himself in the mirror. You're gonna have to do more to sell me on Sami Zayn than winning a fucking fatal four-way only a week ago. Why wasn't there no reaction? Gee, I wonder why. You just threw him in a fucking title match with no story behind it. You can't have him go out there and say, I want the WWE title, it's been my dream, and I want to make my son happy. Bro, you gotta do a little bit more than that. You gotta do a little bit more than that. You're like the chunky in the back of the fucking class who's copying off the smart kid in class. Yeah, let me go into school and fucking get away with this and grab a good solid B+. It don't work like that.
There are two certainties in life, death and taxes. For now, TaxAct filing software.
The Men's Royal Rumble. I got a lot to say about the Men's Royal Rumble, but in short, I thought what they did was good enough. I thought it was a lot better than the women, for sure. And I was really, really invested in what they were doing with Obafemi. And then in the middle of that Rumble, it all kind of went to shit. And then when we got down to the final four, when Cody got eliminated and Jacob Fatu got eliminated, you looked at the field of four and you knew who was going to win. You knew who the winner was when we got to the final four. Easy. And Roman Reigns was the winner. Roman Reigns won the 2026 Men's Royal Rumble. We'll talk about where I think he is going into WrestleMania. And we'll talk about the Rumble and break these Rumbles down. I want to thank you guys for joining me. We have 5,000 in the venue tonight. Thank you very much for hanging out with me on this Saturday night. This is your official Royal Rumble 2026.
Well, I'm going to end the video. Until next time, hit that like button, leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel.
Compared to everybody else, because she felt like everybody wearing... She's insinuating that AJ is going to remain with WWE in some sort of coaching role. I'm a huge Sami Zayn mark. But he held on once again. Surprisingly, at number 11, Cody Rhodes comes out at number 11. Very early for Cody Rhodes. Crowd sang his song. Rhodes hit Williams with a... You should have showed him up on... No gracias. Ilya Dragunov comes in at number 17. LA Knight then gave Reed a big scary faces and laugh at Obafemi. Oba didn't get any offense on Lesnar. He gets one German suplex and then dumps him over the top rope. Bro, you had Obafemi owning this ring for the first 6 or 7 eliminations. And you don't send Brock Lesnar out there to have them own the ring on their own in front of a fucking Royal Rumble crowd inside the Royal Rumble where we don't get this at all ever? Did they royally fuck that up, or did they royally fuck that up? I was floored at how fucking, like, it was so irresponsible the way that they booked this. Oba lasted 40 fucking minutes. He was number 1. And they dumped him out like he was that he was in there for like 2 minutes. His elimination went off like Ray Phoenix's elimination, and he lasted 40 fucking minutes.
Yeah. That was awful. I think Creative is stupid. And Triple H, I don't know what he's doing.
Lesnar gave Logan Paul an F5. He waited for the next guy to come out, and then out comes Jey Uso at number 25. Jey didn't come down through the traditional means of using the fucking gorilla position walking down the aisleway. No, he had to come in through the fucking audience. He takes his time getting to the ring. By the time he got to the ring, number 27 would have been fucking out there. He took his time entering through the crowd. Rhodes and LA Knight teamed up. Bro. Jey Uso's in the fucking crowd. Jey Uso is in the fucking crowd. And you legitimately have people. Like, whoever produced this segment of the Royal Rumble should be fucking fired!
I know, right?
Switch to TurboTax.
Man, this shit sucked. Creative is fucking closed. They don't know what to do. They didn't know what to do here.
All 100% free. Now this is taxes.
You're so
Hold on, I'm trying to goddamn commercial, man.
You're so fire. You're so on trend. You're so...
Bro, Jey Uso walks down through the crowd. You legitimately have everybody looking this way. They're all doing this. They're all doing this to fucking Jey Uso. They're all doing this. Meanwhile, Cody Rhodes and LA Knight are eliminating Brock Lesnar, and everyone's doing this in the crowd. They're doing this while Brock fucking Lesnar is getting eliminated. Brock Lesnar was eliminated while half the fucking audience was acting like a bunch of circus clowns.
Jeez.
Who produced this garbage? Who?
It was shit.
Not only did you eliminate Obafemi after he was in there for 40 fucking minutes, nobody made a fucking big deal about it at all. Brock Lesnar was eliminated while the fucking audience was yeeting. The guy could have single-handedly eat the entire field of 30. God, this shit fucking sucks.
It was awful.
It is to a point. Jey Uso's act, I swear, nothing negative against Jey Uso. Nothing.
I know what.
Usos are fantastic.
Yeah.
Bro, the over-embellishment, the oversaturation, the constant, I have to push this guy and give him these spots. Bro, please. There is a fucking time and a place to do this shit. It's not fucking party time 24/7, okay? This is the Royal Rumble for a shot at the WWE Championship or World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. And you got this fucking guy out there, and Lesnar's getting eliminated in the middle of this fucking circus. He gets in the ring, bro, he's in the ring, and he's fucking doing the let's run it back gimmick in the Royal Rumble, bro. I swear to fucking God, you gotta get rid of it. You gotta get rid of it, bro. This is the most nauseating, fucking comical garbage I have seen since the Big Dog era in WWE with Roman Reigns. Get fucking rid of it. Start taking this shit seriously. Seriously. Bro, it's fucking terrible.
It's awful. It's embarrassing.
I don't give a fuck how many people are showing up. Man, I can't wait to go to WWE to experience it. Man, what are you, a bunch of fucking manipulated, brainwashed, fucking half-witted idiots? Let me go there and eat, man. Lesnar's getting eliminated while everybody's looking at this fucking nonsense going on.
Jesus, man.
Bro, Jey Uso took so long to get to the fucking ring and to run it back. By the time he got there, Roman Reigns' music hit. Roman Reigns was coming on out.
This is stupid.
Reigns got the big entrance, big fireworks. They went all around the stage. Gee, I wonder who's winning the Royal Rumble. Jey is in the ring. He sees Roman get into the ring. This fucking guy, he looks at Roman and he does. Let's run it back. Motherfucker, how many times do we have to run? I wish you'd run yourself back to the fucking locker room. Reigns like, yeah, hey, let's run it back, man. And Reigns fucking takes him out. He dropped Jey with a Superman punch. He hands out Superman punches. He eliminates The Miz. Jacob Fatu comes out at number 27. Before Fatu could come out, Rhodes tried a suicide dive. Fatu blocked it, tossed him into the barricade, and threw him back in the ring. Reigns and Fatu faced off, but Rhodes went after Fatu. Moments later, Jey and Reigns gave Logan a 1D. So he wanted to run it back with Roman. Roman said, fuck off, and then they start teaming up together and do the 1D. Penta comes in at number 28. He gave Fatu a backstab. He gave Fatu a backstabber. LA Knight hit Penta with a power slam. Reigns, he gets hit with a BFT. Rhodes with a reverse DDT. So LA Knight, man, all you LA Knight guys out there, you thought he had a chance to win in this, right? He looks good out there. However, Cody then eliminates LA Knight moments later. Thanks for coming, LA Knight. Randy Orton comes out number 29. He dished out power slams. He hit Logan Paul and Penta with RKOs. And then out comes, I love Gunther, man, but when I heard Gunther's music at number 30, there was just an audible, just disappointment. There was a disappointment that left my body. Gunther comes out at number 30. You know, in a fantasy world, somewhere far, far away, if WWE really wanted to fuck things up, huh? Can you imagine AJ Styles retiring in WWE earlier in the night, only to show up at number 30 to win the Royal Rumble and go to WrestleMania, basically canceling his retirement? Man, that would have made the news feeds, huh? That would have made waves all over, everywhere. AJ retires and then doesn't in the same night by winning the Royal Rumble and going to the WrestleMania main event to challenge for the WWE Championship. Seen someone float that around on social media, but no, only it brings so fluidly, like the WWE title match or title back, and we get Cody and Roman. I don't know what they do.
We could get a fatal four-way.
Right now, Mike.
We could get Roman, Cody, Drew, maybe Jacob Fatu for the WWE Championship on SmackDown in a fatal four-way. If we get Reigns and Punk, who wins that match? I don't think they want Reigns to be pinned again at WrestleMania.
My current feeling is WWE is going to go with Roman and Punk, which would be funny, because Roman always put down the World Heavyweight Championship as the secondary title in the company. Now he's challenging CM Punk for it, right? When he was the WWE Undisputed Champion, how many times did he put down that secondary championship when
Well, I'm gonna end the video. Until next time, I'll see y'all later.